had some figures and ideas and on the floor about the possibility of the city and the district joining forces. We have a member from the city that wants to say something first.
Thanks, Mike. You know, I apologize, but I'm going to have to leave. I've got a previous appointment for the National Western that's been set on my calendar since October. I made a commitment back then tomorrow.
Hey, Tom, before we go, I do notice that the meeting is being recorded. Is that correct?
Is it okay?
You know, there is an issue as to whether public meetings are to be recorded outside of the official recordation by the district. And the district's, the bylaws that the board adopted essentially provide that the secretary is the person who essentially provides for you know, the minutes and the recording of the meeting. I don't know if the board has a problem with it. In other board sessions that I have been involved in, you know, unless the board has consented to an outside recording, the means of recordation is accomplished by the district itself. So I just raised that matter before the board, and if the board wants to permit the outside taping to go on, that's fine. I would remind the board this is a study session, no decisions can be made. You know, the board essentially can allow any members of the public to speak. Otherwise, the intent is to really be a work session among the board members. So what is the board's pleasure about their?
I believe that one other session, we made a decision that we weren't going to allow outside taping.
Recordation.
Yeah. And I don't know if we were going to have testimony from people outside the board today. I don't know.
Well,
but I think that we made that decision about recording, and we should stick with it.
and that is to prohibit recordation by outside sources.
And it was during work study.
Well, it came up in the context of a commission meeting.
Yeah, it was a water commission meeting.
Oh, but it never came up during our last board meeting.
No, it came up at a commission.
I have no problems with it either way. I'm not pro or con, but I see no reason why we can't have it. It's an open meeting, and I see nothing to hold us back from having it. It's an open meeting, so what do we got to be ashamed of?
Is it a public meeting, or is
That's
this?
right. It's a public meeting.
So I have no.
So under the
problem.
sunshine law,
Well, there's a question. There's an issue about whether there can be a public recording of a public meeting, or whether the official recordation by the district stands. And so, you know, if there's a motion by the board to not allow the recordation, then at that point in time, we ask you to cease.
Can I say something,
Sure.
Jim? At the time that decision was made, it was a commission meeting, and it was made because we were discussing pro and cons at that time, and it wasn't to where we made any decision at that meeting at all.
no problem. Okay, so you guys want to just make your decision, and I'll do what you decide. So go ahead.
Yeah,
We don't
and
make
we
decisions.
appreciate
Yes.
that, and I'm just telling you what my experience has been, and in the context of the commission, and it really is up to this board to make that sort of decision.
You mean we make that decision now, or is what you're saying?
Yeah, we make the.
I have no problems with it being here.
If I report on it verbally, I mean, that's why I don't understand what the difference is. If I report on it written,
Yeah, you can certainly take notes. The question is, if the district maintains an official recordation by voice transcript, whether that isn't the official transcript, and that there are not to be other unofficial recordings. So,
Well,
okay.
I beg to differ, because here we got all kind of, we just hired a lawyer, or supposedly for a sunshine investigation of me and Mike Vanilla, and then we don't have a sunshine investigation of two people, two board members going up and down quick, the district attorney. What's the difference? Now, if we're going to be in the public, you got public standing back there, people who leading the so-called recall, because thing. So this is public, so let's let the public hear what's going on, see what's going on. So that's the only way you're gonna get the truth out, because we got too many secrets here in this thing, and I just don't see any more secret meetings.
It's up to the board if you want to.
Yeah, just make a decision. I'll go with whatever you guys say. Just tell me what you want.
No, again, the board could decide to say.
Can I tell you the basis of why we did that? We had a person that was coming in, and it was one of those situations where they thought that they had been in the district prior to the IGA, and so the discussion was going to be whether or not that really was the case and how it worked. And so at the time, the person that was wanting to tape it was that person specifically. And we felt as though that could create a bad problem if they decided, if the commission decided, and then the board and the council decided that they couldn't, that wasn't the case. He might catch something in the way we said that would then allow him to sue the city and sue the district.
So isn't that what
Now,
executive sessions are for?
I don't have a problem. Your situation is different than that.
Right.
But I don't know if we and a work study is different. We don't. Nothing here is set in stone.
Right.
And I have no objection at all to you writing everything you want to write about what we say. But I don't know if that is a precedent. And then if we have another situation where we have a person who has a personal interest and chooses to want to tape, then do we have to let that person tape?
Okay.
And that's my objection.
All right. Just for the record, though, I'm just part of the Gateway News, and
Yes.
we're part of the Commerce or the Colorado Press Association.
Yes.
So I'm going to run this by the CPA lawyers just to make sure that this is okay. But I have a go and a no-go. So what do I do? Do I cease or do I get?
I make a motion.
Can't make no motions.
I don't want to waste any more time. I get a no-go and a go. Can you just tell me the other opinions maybe, and then I'll just take it from there?
Well, to save 3 or 4 hours of discussion, I
Yeah.
say just don't do it, write down anything you want to, and like I said, run it by your association. to see
Why
if
don't,
it's
why
okay.
don't we have a conversation about it? And because it's going to come up in the future, and I think we'll need to have a formal board decision. So if you wouldn't mind not taking it at this point, you'll run it by your attorney. I'll tell you, the basis from our end, and we'll make a formal recommendation
Okay.
to the board.
All right. But just for a clarification, I mean, if you didn't want it in the public, then it should be an executive session. Is that the idea of executive sessions, or?
No, again,
It is a public meeting.
It is.
Okay, all right. I just want to make
Yeah,
that point clear.
Understood, and the goal is not to hide anything from anybody.
Right.
But the question is that the official recordation, and if that's the case.
But I'm not an official recommendation. I'm just the media.
And I have to agree with him, counsel. I don't even know this person. Now, if we're gonna have an open meeting and you're gonna have all these other people here who in my opinion, who instigation and all this sort of stuff, you're gonna have them here, well, then it should be an executive session, because all that does is give them guys ammunition, and I don't think it's fair.
Well,
So I don't.
I will cease and desist.
But I think what we'll do is, and I think there's agreement on the board, that we need to come up with a formal policy.
Yeah, but in the meantime.
I would appreciate if you did it for the next regular meeting. Then, if you just decide then, and then we'll take it from there.
I don't think you should have the meeting.
Do you think that you could report without the tape?
Oh yeah, I can report that tape. I just wanted your words, because I mean, if I report
You
it,
don't have to do anything. You are reporting. I can't tell you what to report, and I don't intend to.
exactly. That's why it was better this way, because it was your words. If I report it, or if the Beacon reports it, it's always going to be a little bit of a slant, whatever way. Now it's your words, and that's it.
It's
That's
not
why I
fair
thought this was
to
going to be a positive thing.
The press can't write about it, but you can let all of these other people do anything and write and say all these untruthful things about people, and I think it's totally wrong, where maybe the press would say the right thing, so I'm opposed to it. If we ain't gonna have it, then I think we should not have this meeting, or either have it in executive session, and that's my feeling. Otherwise, let's go have it.
I object to that. We
You
need to
can't
have
no
this meeting.
objection.
I object.
This is not
I
a
object
rule.
to
You
canceling the
can't,
meeting.
you out of order if that's the rule.
I apologize for raising the issue, but it came up at a commission meeting, and so I felt that we needed to at least get it on the table because we have.
For the sake of time, I think it's an important meeting. I'll cease.